This land we call home has a rich and varied history stretching back thousands of years. But hidden below the surface are some amazing treasures just waiting to be found.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. That's really cool.
So each year across the country, archaeologists dig underground and dive underwater, searching for fresh discoveries.
The most amazing thing in British archaeology.
Uncovering traces of ancient lives.
Somebody's pride and joy, I'm sure.
And finding fascinating objects.
Such exquisite detail.
This year, I'll be meeting the archaeologists and looking at some of their most incredible finds.
I mean, that is stunning.
While Dr. Tori Herridge is travelling the length of the country to some spectacular locations.
Where I'll be dropping in on some of this year's most fascinating digs.
Oh my gosh, can you see that?
It's just brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
Every dig provides a new piece in the puzzle of Britain's forgotten past. This is the epic and unfolding story of our islands. Welcome to Digging for Britain. This week on Digging for Britain, hidden treasures are discovered on a forgotten royal estate.
Fantastically well preserved.
Linked to the last Anglo-Saxon king of England.
Never seen anything like it in 30 years of digging.
While in Fife, a hilltop dig
I've never found anything this cool.
It's made my year.
Somebody's pride and joy, I'm sure.
reveals precious insights into the ancient Picts. Oh, wow. This site is incredible. And Tori discovers that Sunderland's industrial heritage has very ancient roots.
You can't argue with that, can you? The Romans were here.
From Hadrian's Wall to the Norman ramparts of Bamborough Castle, the northeast of Britain bears witness to centuries of conquest and resistance. But sometimes it's not the landmarks themselves, but the surrounding countryside that can reveal important clues to Britain's tumultuous past. Our first dig takes us to Skipsea, 16 miles north of Hull. Here, a huge mound of earth marks where Skipsea Castle once stood. Built by a Norman knight, Drogo de la Berverière, to enforce his claim to this territory. The Domesday Book states that Drogo was granted huge swathes of land here after the Norman conquest in 1066. But it also reveals who owned this area before the invasion, during the early medieval period. This land once included a settlement called Cleaton, belonging to the last Anglo-Saxon king of England, Harold Godwinson. After Harold was defeated by William the Conqueror, this estate disappeared without a trace. Now, a team of students from the University of York are excavating in the fields surrounding Skipsea Castle, hoping to find Harold Godwinson's lost estate. And for some of them, it's their very first time on a dig.
You're like, wow, this piece of wood is like hundreds of years old, and I'm touching it, and it's very cool.
We found a few pieces of pottery around, and one right here as well. So we're thinking, you know, people could have lived around here.
Jim Leary is leading the dig, and they're already finding traces of early medieval life here.
When we first excavated this area, we found a long building, and what's clear is that we have an oven at one end of the building. The oven has been fired to such a high degree, in fact, that the domed structure has gone a bright red colour, like modern bricks, and you can see it all around. The stone, which would have been the floor of the oven, is burnt to such a high degree that it's thermally fractured. The question is, what were they using the oven for? The answer actually came from the floor over here. So we've just moved into the other end of the building, and all throughout this area we have really interesting seeds. These are little charred grains. They look a little bit like mouse poos in my hand, but actually these give us the answer because every one of these cereal grains are sprouting just slightly. This is a malting oven, and this floor here is most likely the germinating floor to go with it. So this is a malt house. In other words, they were making beer here.
In malting, grain is allowed to germinate, then growth is arrested by drying the grain in a kiln. It was a common process, but actual evidence of Anglo-Saxon malt houses is rare.
I think this is only the second one to have been excavated in the country. Not only does it tell us about the brewing process, but it also tells us that this settlement is no ordinary settlement. It has got to be high status. We've got to be in the middle of a large, important estate, maybe even a royal estate.
But this large malt house isn't the only indication that this might be the princely estate the archaeologists are hunting for. There's another, more mysterious building emerging.
This is a square building that's been cut down into the ground, and what we're looking at is effectively a cellar for it. Post holes are beginning to appear in the corners, and we think that we might well be looking at a tower, which once again points to this being a high-status site. The floor is just coming through here. What's amazing is it was actually a really well-made mortared floor. So this is a well-made building. So we've got a mortar-lined cellar, fantastically well preserved. Never seen anything like it in my 30 years of digging. Listen, it's so tempting to try and relate some of these high-status structures to Harold Godwinson himself. Maybe with radiocarbon dating and further work on this, we will get there.
The malt house and tower are indicative of a high-status site, but Jim is particularly excited by one much smaller find.
This is one of my absolute favourite finds from the site this year. This is a piece of amber. The only reason they would be working this piece of amber is to turn it into some jewellery, into a bead for a necklace or whatever. So this is a piece of jewellery in the process of being made, but for some reason was lost, which is our fortune because we found it over 1,000 years later. We don't find pieces of amber like this. This is the real standout find from this season, and I will remember it for a very long time.
It's another small piece of evidence which, alongside the malt house and tower, suggests this was an important place. It could be that lost royal estate. Professor Stuart Pryor is investigating how a fragment of amber might have been turned into Anglo-Saxon jewellery.
I'm interested in experimental archaeology, recreating how artefacts may have been made in the past. That's amazing. And I've got plenty of experts to call upon to lend me a hand. I've invited Sue Heiser, an expert on Anglo-Saxon jewellery, to help me investigate how the piece of amber from Holderness might have been worked.
Amber is one of the glories of the Anglo-Saxons, the early Anglo-Saxons in particular, and it just makes this glorious colour.
You've got an amazing collection of amber in front of me here. Where does it all come from?
It's almost certain that most of the amber used by the Anglo-Saxons came from the Baltic. It's the biggest area. And it's the resin of pine trees, around about 35 million years ago. These trees fell, they exuded sap, and amber floats in water. And they would float ashore. And you can pick it up on the beach in North Norfolk and right up the Northumbrian coast. And what a delight to pick up a piece like this.
How do we turn this raw material into something that you'd want to wear on your necklace?
You can cut it. It's quite soft. So you can see that just with an ordinary knife, you can actually shape it quite successfully. I then move on to a finer file and do it again. So here it is, and you can see now that area is now beginning to look quite polished, quite shiny. It's sort of more satin, but we want to go to a glass finish. So one more trick up our sleeves. Charcoal dust.
Okay.
This is very messy. You sprinkle a bit out, and then you get your piece of amber, and you rub it like that. Or you could use ash. Ash does it too.
Once the amber is nice and shiny, the hole is drilled so that it can be threaded onto a necklace. Doing this by hand would have been painstaking, but Sue has experimented with another Anglo-Saxon innovation. Basically, you're using a bit of ancient technology again. The Anglo-Saxons would have had bow drills, wouldn't they? So you could have done it quite easily done it this way.
Yes.
The Anglo-Saxons would have set their amber alongside decorative glass beads. So to finish our necklace, Sue starts making some.
This is instead of a little furnace made of mud and cow dung.
Okay.
It's slightly more convenient.
Right.
So here we go. I'm going to light it, and it'll be very noisy.
Sue takes a metal bar called a mandrel. This has been dipped into a clay mixture called slip, which prevents the glass from sticking to it. She then starts to wind the glass around the mandrel before plunging it into a pot of sand to cool.
Right, so now, time to have a look and see what it's like.
I can't wait to see. And that's still hot, right? So...
No. All fine. All
Okay.
Good. Yes.
Oh, that is so beautiful. That almost looks amber-coloured, doesn't it?
It does, yes, yes.
Oh, that's
And
the
there's
green
the
one.
dark
Oh,
green
that's
one with the
incredible.
yellow
Look at that.
wave going all around it.
You are so clever.
So now what we do is we soak them in water to get rid of the slip.
Right.
So we pop them in there. Once they've soaked, the slip will have dissolved away and out.
The bead will come off.
put it. I use some pliers and a rubber glove's handy. There. Off it came. And
there is your finished...
There's the finished bead.
Early medieval bead. That's the beginning of your Anglo-Saxon necklace. I can really see now why amber was such a prized possession and why people wore it as ornamentation. Combine it with a few simple glass beads and you've got amazing necklaces that can be passed down through your family for years. These are just so beautiful and it really brings the past and the colour of the past to life.
Archaeology can help us to write the histories of people who left little in the way of written records. People like the Picts, whose name comes from a Roman description, Picti, meaning painted ones. It was a generic term used for anyone living beyond the northern border of the Roman Empire in Britain. These peoples successfully defended their land against Roman invaders and laid the foundations for medieval Scotland. And yet, they remain mysterious in many ways.
Our next dig sees us travelling right up to the north into what's now Scotland to try to track down those ancient people, the Picts. Now, they are famously elusive in archaeology. We often only find scant remains. But this site yielded a wealth of finds.
This investigation is taking place on East Lomond Hill in Fife, just over 20 miles north of Edinburgh. This hill is strategically located, and from its windswept heights you can see for miles across the surrounding landscape. In the Iron Age, a hill fort was built here, but the team are focusing on evidence of its continued occupation into the Roman period and beyond. The Picts are assumed to be the descendants of Iron Age people, with various Pictish kingdoms vying for power throughout the first millennium. Up on East Lomond Hill, a team from Aberdeen University, along with local volunteers, have been working in all conditions.
John, are you having a good time here? Oh, having a wonderful time. Love it.
Searching for a Pictish settlement.
Oh, look at that. We've just found a nail.
Oh, wow, really?
I think that's the nail head.
That's so cool.
Most of what we know about the early Picts comes from what the Romans wrote of their military encounters. But what's emerging here is precious evidence of daily life in a Pictish settlement.
I think I found an incredible polished bead, and it's got sort of incised design on it as well. It's complete and absolutely stunning.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful, Jamie. Well done. Are you excited by that?
It's made my year, I think.
The site hasn't disappointed. More and more evidence of Pictish life is emerging. Gordon Noble is leading the dig.
So this site is an amazing vantage point, so we can see across to the Firth of Forth, where the Romans had their northernmost frontier. And in the post-Roman period, this would have been a really strategic location, looking over to the area where the Northumbrians and the Britons occupied. It's hard to appreciate today with such a quiet, serene location, but this would have been a really, really busy, thriving settlement in this Pictish period. So this site is really special and really interesting because we still have so few settlements from this time period. But to have this site here where we've got, dozens and dozens of buildings is really super exciting. This is Trench 7, our largest trench, and we're quite excited about what's showing up here. So we've got a large stone foundation coming around here, up this way, and then arcing back around. So it seems to be one end of a very large stone building. So that's really, really exciting. And then we've got traces of paving beginning to show up in the centre. And then just over here, we've got the stone-built fireplace. You can just see the curbstones here beginning to emerge. And this is where people in the Pictish period would have sat around their fire. And we had quite a few exciting finds beginning to show up in the floor layers of this building.
It's really unusual to uncover quite so many artefacts in a Pictish site. But this dig is revealing a wealth of clues. And one find is particularly evocative.
So it's a little piece of stone, and it's one of the most exciting finds we've had on the dig so far. So we can see an eye here, a second eye, the nose here, and what we think might be hair just represented by these little notches at the top of the stone. So it appears to be a little face, a human face. And this came just from the floor layers inside the building here. So we can just imagine someone in the Pictish period sitting around the hearth inside this building, maybe just doing a little practice piece to create this human-like appearance. Face of a Pict, potentially.
Find specialist Leanne DeMay is bringing the evidence together and getting close to the lives of the ancient Picts.
There's been lots of things coming up from this trench, lots of evidence of domestic activities. This is just one of many game encounters we have from the site. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Some have been intentionally shaped, just like this one here. Others are just more like polished pebbles. We have some really lovely polished stone balls as well. So it's just giving us an idea that in their leisure time, they're sitting beside the hearth, they're playing games. This is possibly the star find from this year. So this is an ibex-headed pin. It's really rare, and it's possibly only the second one we know from Scotland. And it would have been worn to fasten a garment. Somebody's pride and joy, I'm sure.
Site directors Gordon Noble and Joe Fitzpatrick have brought more of their impressive Pictish finds to the tent so that I can get a closer look.
Oh, wow. This site is incredible, isn't it? I mean, I'm so excited to see these finds. We've been in search of the Picts again, which is what I expect.
Yeah, this is a wonderful site. It's a wonderful range of finds that really tell us everything from the domestic life of the Picts through to warfare, gaming, and dress accessories.
So what have we got there? What's that?
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's pretty special. This is in two pieces. So one of the students found this bottom bit of a pin.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, one of our local volunteers, Mike, found the top part. And hey presto, it's one pin, it's a dress pin. And actually, the detail on that top is quite incredible. And you can only see it close up.
Oh, wow. That is lovely. Is it copper alloy?
no, it's silver.
It's
so
silver.
actually finding silver objects in sight, which tells you a bit about the wealth of the people who are living there.
Oh, my goodness.
They have these objects and they lose them, and they don't spend that much time actually recovering them. But those are incredibly rare. I mean, there's only a few handful of these silver pins known, and they're usually from hoards.
Right.
So
okay.
to actually find them in a settlement site, again,
Yeah.
shows you just how important the site is.
Right. Tell me about this metalwork then.
It's from a really well-sealed context from a floor layer of a probably 6th, 7th century building
Really?
next to a few other objects. And we've got no parallels from Scotland of this time period.
Yeah.
So probably largely, an agricultural tool, a construction tool, but, maybe a weapon as well.
You could do someone some damage with
You
it.
certainly could.
Yeah.
The weight of that, you could do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? It looks like a doorknob.
Well, funny you should say that, because it's called a doorknob spear butt. And these are iconic artifacts of this time period. So again, it does literally look like a doorknob.
But it's the bottom of a spear.
Bottom of a spear. And it's got a real weight to it. And it's also hollow, but it has been used. We found traces of wood.
So when does this
inside.
date to, do we know?
Probably 3rd, 4th century, so it's in that kind of late Roman phase.
Yeah. And the Romans were causing some trouble.
Oh, yes, absolutely. This site seems to emerge in the kind of mid-3rd century, just, a generation or so before that first mention of the Picts. So it could be a kind of centralised settlement that's emerging after that kind of Roman military influence begins to wane at this kind of northern frontier.
But it happens again, doesn't it? It keeps on happening.
Yeah, I mean, there
the
are
Romans keep
campaigns.
thinking we need to go and sort this
Yeah,
out.
absolutely, yeah.
And the Picts resist.
Yeah, I mean, there's still campaigns mentioned into the 4th century.
Yeah.
And the Picts are the real enemies by that time period. But it's interesting because the Romans actually mention the Caledonii, which are the kind of predecessors of the Picts, having spears with these kind of spheres at the base.
Do they?
And they rattle during battles. But it is a hollow object. So
Do you think they're beating their shields with
They're
them?
putting things inside them and they're
Yeah,
shaking and making a noise. So you can imagine lots of these as they come towards you, and you can't see them, but you know they're coming.
But you could hit it on your shield as well, couldn't you? Create quite a-
Psychological
quite a noise as
warfare,
well.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Adding some noise to the battlefield.
So it is this mysterious period of time where you don't have much in the way of written records, but now we're getting more and more archaeological evidence of these people, getting closer to the Pictish kings.
Archaeology shows us how our ancestors adapted to these lands, thriving in the harsh, windswept uplands of the northeast, and making the most of the fertile lowlands. As one community certainly did on the banks of the River Tay in eastern Scotland, home to the tumbling ruins of Lindores Abbey. This was a centre of faith, but also a thriving agricultural and industrial landscape. In the medieval period, Dr. Tori Herridge is finding out more.
When we think of medieval monks, we often picture men of quiet devotion, faith, simplicity, perhaps a bit of chanting, cut off, though, from the outside world. But within these ivy-clad walls lies a very different story. The monks of Lindores Abbey were no ordinary holy men.
In 1494, the monastery entered the history books when Friar John Core was listed in tax records as a maker of aqua vitae. It's the first written record of whisky making in Scotland. The men here were Tyrrhenensian monks, and unlike many other religious orders, they believed that hard work cleansed the soul. Now, archaeologists are looking for the evidence that the medieval monks here were forerunners of the whisky trade. Trench supervisor Zam Wadji is excavating down to the medieval layers.
Hey, hello, what is this?
So this is a coin, so hopefully when we pull this out, we can get a date on when potentially this was built and what layer we're at.
So you'd be happy with the, 14th century?
Yeah, that's our hope.
Is it fragile?
It's very fragile, hence why I'm wearing gloves here. Oil from the human skin can affect copper alloy, so we're gonna try to take it out without touching it with our hands. It's coming. And then here we go.
Okay.
If we can get that clay off, it should give us a better face than this guy. And then we just slowly put it into our bag here.
The coin was confirmed to be from the reign of James III, who ruled Scotland in the late 15th century, shortly before that first written mention of the monks making whisky. The Tyrrhenensians were known to be astute businessmen involved in trade and commerce.
Well, we found some very, very interesting pieces at the monastery.
Site director Alison Beach is talking me through the evidence.
So this is an object that is probably from the 12th or the 13th century.
Oh, wow, a lot older.
A lot older. And if I wanted to make a wild interpretation, maybe a little bit of evidence that this room had been used for business even earlier. If it's a short cross coin, this should say Heinricus Rex on it, because all proper short cross coins have that inscription.
Heinricus Rex being?
King Henry the First.
The
So,
First,
yeah,
okay.
so that gives us nice dating. It has to come after the very end of the 12th century. So as we've gone down in that nice trench behind us, we found continued evidence of the monastery's involvement in commerce, or at least in accounting.
Monastery is business, yeah.
Well, monasteries are always big business. And so we know from 15th century documents that the monks here were engaging really actively on a large scale in distilled spirits.
Whilst evidence that the monks were trading is emerging, the evidence for whisky making itself is still scarce. Archaeologist Darlene Brooks-Hedstrom has unearthed an intriguing find.
Hello.
Hiya.
This looks cool.
It is. This is a barrel band, and we've spent the morning exposing it, and we
It's
can see that
complete.
it is complete.
Where's the barrel?
Well, okay, that's not there. Unfortunately, that's not there.
So it's just one band around. So you
So
have
far.
like more than one. Oh,
So far. So
So far.
maybe as we go down below, we might have other ones. It's very odd to just have one band, so maybe there's more underneath the deposit.
Is it fragile? Is it going to come out in one piece?
I think it's going to come out in one piece. We've worked pretty carefully with it.
You did it! You're going to need a bigger tray.
We are going to need a bigger tray. There we go. There we go.
The first barrel band.
It is the first barrel band.
Lindores Abbey.
It is.
But hopefully not the last.
Hopefully not the last. So then we'll go down and maybe we'll find some more, which I hope we will.
This barrel band hasn't turned out to be medieval, but the finds from the site are starting to provide archaeological evidence that matches the written records. Clues to the business acumen of this holy order, who hold the record for Scotland's earliest known whisky production.
The monks of Lindores Abbey were not just men of prayer, they were farmers, craftsmen, savvy businessmen, and the unlikely pioneers of Scotland's most iconic spirit. And the Abbey's legacy still ripples through Scotland's heritage.
Everyone goes against the wind sometimes when the shipping forecast strong. Said we were landlocked and stuck to this soil. Guess they never heard of a swinging throng.
Across the northeast and beyond, archaeology is transforming the way we understand the past. Every find adds to an increasingly detailed picture.
But finding an archaeological artefact is only ever the beginning, because then we have to work out how to look after it, how to curate it, how to conserve it, to make it accessible to the public and for future research. But with decades of archaeological discoveries piling up, museums have reached a crisis point. Archaeologist Meg Russell is looking at a bold new project tackling this challenge.
Across the country, about 60% of local museums have declared themselves full. And Gloucester Museum is one of them. Curator Lizzie Johansson Hartley hasn't been able to accept any new items for over 3 years.
Wow, literally boxes to the ceiling in here. Is everything that we're looking at formally catalogued?
In the 160 years of the museum, we've never had a full inventory of everything. We don't often know exactly what is in every single box, so that is what we need to do.
And how does it get to this state? How are we here?
There are hundreds of boxes being found through commercial development and archaeology, and in planning law, it says that they have to go somewhere publicly accessible. About 40 years ago, everyone went museums, but actually we don't have the space or funding to be able to continue accepting in perpetuity. There's got to be a limit somewhere.
How much material do you have here?
We're talking over 750,000 objects as a whole, and the boxes falling apart. Unfortunately, some of them are full to the brim and overflowing, others are half full, and some of them have one tiny little shard of pottery inside them, and it's a massive box. So the use of space isn't great.
If museums are unable to accept more archaeological material, future finds could be left uncatalogued, and vital opportunities to further our understanding of the past will be missed. But one solution to this national crisis has been made possible by lottery funding. The museum has taken over a disused retail outlet at the local shopping centre, where a massive sorting operation has begun. Lizzie has enlisted an army of volunteers who are painstakingly repacking every item.
I didn't expect there to be this much stuff. Like, I've never seen so many finds in one place. These boxes are from 1969, and we do find things from 1969, like newspapers that we always give a read through. And so they are just little boxes of time.
Yeah, they're nuggets of history, and you're understanding the archaeologists that put them there in the first place.
I'm currently on summer break from uni, where I study archaeology, and wanted to get some practical work. And it's not very often that you get an opportunity to see the archival side of things.
Yeah, well, it's building responsible archaeologists, because you're understanding what you are excavating, what's going to happen to it, and, you know, we're not just treasure hunting, we're wanting to understand the artifacts themselves.
The sorting process isn't just helping the museum rediscover and catalogue priceless artifacts, it's also benefiting the volunteers.
Why has it been so important for you to be a part of this project? What does it mean to you?
I've come back home to Gloucester after a long, long time, and it feels like it's being part of a community and understanding my roots as somebody that grew up here. So it's just lovely.
From a very young age, I really liked history. I've just got a really good mind for remembering things. And since leaving college, no one would give me a chance to work. And then I came here with my mum, and they were happy to have me, and I've been going ever since. So coming here, it has given me the chance to prove myself to people, and it shows that I'm dedicated to this process because I've been going for such a long time now.
I'm sure one day you'll be able to go into a museum and say, that was the one bit that I bagged myself. And how does this help long-term with your storage?
We believe that we are going to be hitting about a 50% space saving of boxes by the end of the project.
Wow, 50%, that would be brilliant.
Across the UK, archaeological material is piling up, and with nowhere to go, it's a challenge that we can no longer ignore.
But Gloucester are proving that the answer is not just more shelves. It's about rethinking the system, involving communities, and treating stored collections not as a burden, but as a vital resource for the future of archaeology.
At the edge of time, there's a silent cry. They blocked off the road and nowhere to go.
The landscape of the northeast bears traces of an earlier way of life, from patterns of farming to burial mounds and ancient monuments.
Archaeology can be wonderfully democratising. We can look at the lives of kings and queens, the nobility, the social elite, but we can also see ordinary people in the past.
Our next dig takes us back into prehistory to meet a community in the uplands that straddle the border between England and Scotland. In the Cheviot Hills. These hills were created by volcanic activity some 400 million years ago. The igneous rocks here include granite and tuff, as well as a fine-grained rock called felsite. And the red felsite here is quite special. It's perhaps most recognisable as the red surface of the Mall leading up to Buckingham Palace. Felsite has been extracted from this quarry for more than 80 years, and there are plans to expand. Before that can happen, a team of archaeologists is investigating the site, finding evidence going back 4,000 years to the Bronze Age. The archaeologists have been working on this hillside for 17 years, uncovering traces of prehistoric settlement and farming. The discoveries include a Bronze Age monument called a ring cairn. Archaeologist Clive Waddington is leading the dig.
You can see its circular shape, and there's a very rough curb, and this is the original entrance here. So you would have entered in this direction. What we've got here is a pit. This is just inside the entrance, and there was some burnt human bone just to the side of it here. And we think this is a threshold deposit. So when people come into ceremonial monuments or religious monuments, they pass through into the world of the spirits, the world beyond. We'd pass over the threshold deposit, and you can see there's quite a large pit here. And although we didn't find any human remains in it, we did find this flint tool. And of course, flint's very hard, it's non-perishable, and it looks like it was chipped yesterday. I think what we're learning from this archaeology is that people are moving into these uplands. They're investing a huge amount of time and energy and labour. And I think what that's reflecting is social stability, but also probably quite a wealthy population. They're investing a lot in the landscape and for the long term. OK, we'll pop it on there.
Just 20 metres from the ring cairn, Clive and his team find more evidence, this time in the form of pottery.
This pot's a puzzle at the moment. It's very coarse. It doesn't appear to be decorated, but it's substantial. I suspect it could be some kind of urn, and they're usually associated with burials. They often contain cremations. Yeah, so there's some bone fragments coming through now, sort of below the pot, which means it does look like it's containing a cremation. Yep, that's bone. We've got another cremation, guys. The remains of these people have lain here for 4,000 years, and it's quite amazing, really, to be able to touch the past, you know, in such a personal way.
Clive captured the moment that he and his team had been waiting for.
1, 2, go.
Always got a look.
Oh, wow. Definitely cremation in there. You get the camera.
There was 2 cremations in that one above the other, and the beautiful pot, the complete pot, is out of that far pit.
Clive has brought that extraordinarily complete cremation urn to the tent.
Look at this incredible urn. That's completely intact, isn't it?
Yeah, that is pretty much how it came out of the ground,
Yeah.
except it was inverted, so it was the other way around. But it was incredibly well preserved. It's about 4,000 years old. You can see it's decorated. It's got this cord-impressed decoration that's been twisted.
Is it just a piece of string, or is it on a stick?
I think it's probably wrapped around a stick,
Okay.
and then they've pressed it in. So we've got some of the human remains.
How many individuals are in there?
One, I'm
One.
afraid.
Have you done everything you need to do?
It doesn't matter if you touch them.
Okay. I mean, there's no DNA anyway, is there? Because it's cremated.
Cremated.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a ball and socket joint. It's part of the ball. And it's small. And it's got a fovea, so it's the femur. That's quite small.
Mm. So we think this is probably a teenager, a young teenager.
It's unfused, so the cartilage plate would have been there still. So, yeah, it's definitely a youngster.
At the
And
moment,
this is what I like about cremations. You've only got small pieces, but you can still tell something.
on these remains here, you can probably see little bits of green on them, which suggests there was some copper in there.
This is a piece of skull, and there's a little green spot just there.
Probably from some copper object that was on the burial.
Yeah.
And, you know, during the cremation process, it may have burnt away or got lost in the funeral pyre.
Yeah.
But I think what it suggests is that the individual had some kind of amulet or ornamentation to help them on their journey in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Maybe almost a magical item.
Yeah, it's a sort of ghost of an object, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this. You've got a young person buried in what we could say is a fairly high-status burial context in this beautiful urn. Is this pushing it too far? But does it suggest that this young person was somebody important, had relatively high status, and that if it's a young person with high status, that must be inherited, surely? They haven't earned it yet, I presume.
I think you're probably bang on with that. But also, I think it's just showing the extent to which, you know, parents want to ensure that their children, that they give them the maximum protection and help in their journey into the afterlife.
Yeah.
Just a lonely radio, just a makeshift show and tell, playing out the lives of the lost and found.
Archaeology can bring us close to our ancestors, to individuals, but it can also help tell a bigger story. And in more recent centuries, the northeast of Britain was a focus for heavy industry, including steelworking and shipbuilding. But it turns out that the industrial roots here go much deeper. On the banks of the River Wear in Sunderland, traces of an unexpected past are emerging. Tori is following the winding riverbanks in search of a forgotten industry. Going back nearly 2,000 years to the Roman period.
These unassuming riverbanks have been overlooked by archaeologists for centuries, their secrets hidden in mud and silt. But now, thanks to the local community, an extraordinary new site is being uncovered.
And it all started with a series of mysterious stones found on the riverbank.
Hey, Gary!
Archaeologist Gary Bankhead has long suspected that the Romans occupied this area. And now he thinks he's found the evidence.
What is so special about this place?
Yeah, well, apart from being beautiful, it's these objects, and this one's literally just been found. It's a Romano-British period whetstone.
That's wet with an H, right? Whet.
It is.
Whet for sharpening blades, yeah?
So every farmstead, every villa, every military complex.
Every Roman fort is going to have a lot of blades to be sharpened, right?
Absolutely.
So what is so interesting and important about, you know, a Roman whetstone?
Well, by itself, very little. However, this foreshore is littered with many, many more, and they are all over the place. There's one.
Okay.
There's a double one. There's another single one. Hundreds, literally hundreds
How
of them.
many? When you say hundreds, how many?
765. So that one there is the 765th whetstone that we found here, which is an incredible number.
Yeah, how does that compare to other sites?
Of the known whetstones found in the British Isles, you can probably total about 350.
Across the whole country?
Yeah.
OK, that is big. That's a lot, right? So what does that tell you?
We're pretty sure we've stumbled upon a Romano-British whetstone production site across the river. That sandstone rock outcrop is where we believe they were being manufactured. The quality of the sandstone itself, it has to be the amount of quartz in there, and probably feldspar as well, that just lends itself to being a perfect material to sharpen bladed weapons and tools. These ones are the broken ones. So the second they drop on the floor and snap in half, they are useless.
So these are all the discards, effectively, from what must have been a much larger industry then. So if you're throwing away these ones, you must have plenty of other ones to send off in good nick.
That's right. And we believe that because of this location in the river, seagoing vessels would have been coming up the northeast coast during the Roman period. But this landing area that seems to be where seagoing vessels could reach at low water, they would then be an exchange of goods, and these would be shipped perhaps down to London, where they would be traded across the Roman Empire.
What is it then that you're hoping to find? You've got all the whetstones. Why are you here now? What are you digging for?
You need to find the whetstones being produced in situ, in a context that we can sort of date, and that will inform whether or not it's Romano-British.
Yeah, if there was a massive factory here producing these whetstones in Roman Britain, it should have left its mark, and that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, this has to be the missing piece of the jigsaw.
If Gary and his team are to prove this was a Roman whetstone production site, they'll need to find other signs of Roman activity. So archaeologists from Durham University, along with local volunteers, have dug trenches along the riverbanks. But they're at the mercy of the tides and can only dig 4 days every month. So I'm lending Orla a hand in the trenches before the tide comes back in.
What do you think that is? Is it tile? Yeah, exactly. What's that? Well, it's like ceramic to me, isn't it? Yeah. It's very thick. Gary?
Yeah?
I promise we didn't fix it, but Orla has just uncovered this.
Wow.
She just said we need a bit of pottery, and then this turned up.
Yeah, wow, look at that. Look at the curve. Look at the angle. We have so little data and evidence. This is fantastic. Thanks. Well done, Orla.
Yeah, good job.
But it's not just on the riverbank that the team are finding evidence of Roman industry. Down on the foreshore, they are discovering ancient stone anchors, suggesting that this place was a stopping point for boats.
Yes. Stone anchors here.
Having already found a surprising number of anchors at this spot, Gary and his team of experienced divers are extending their search deeper into the river. And for that, I've got to kit up myself.
Really exciting moment. We had a pre-arranged signal with the two divers who've gone in, and a buoy has popped up. And they were instructed if they found something significant, almost certainly an anchor, that's what they were briefed to search for, pop up a buoy and let me know, and I will go across and examine it.
Because what is the significance then of these stone anchors? How many have you found?
To date, we found 10, and that is an incredible amount. That's double anything that's been found in the whole of Europe. So in themselves, they are incredibly important. This would represent the 11th, and I can't wait to find out.
OK.
I've got comms on, so if you want, I can give you an update as we're going. So I can guide you through the discovery.
Yes. Gary is actually connected to the shore via a cable where I can actually listen in. There's a little bit like having him on a tether.
Right, here we go.
It's quite hard to hear, Gary. It's slightly distorted line. Oh! Oh, he said... You just said looks like an anchor, but it's not. There's 3 divers out there. You can just see their bubbles all homing in onto that buoy. Wow, he just said wow.
Here it is. Yeah. Exactly what I hoped it was. Yes. Another stone anchor. Another ancient anchor.
You got something? Yeah? Oh my gosh, can you see that? Look at this. Yes. How heavy is it?
I reckon you could probably do it.
I got it, let go.
You got it, sure?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Woo! I mean, this could be 2,000 years old. I mean, look at that. How does this compare then to the other ones you found?
Its shape, its size, its form, that single large hole, the chisel marks, the tool marks, it's almost identical.
Yeah, it's pretty hefty, that's for sure. Shall I hoik it up while you get yourself out?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Let's do that. Take care of that mud.
Yes. The stone anchors like this have been in use since when? The Bronze Age, right? Earlier?
Probably earlier, yes.
Probably earlier, right? So it's probably on its own quite hard to date.
By themselves, these have the form of a Bronze Age anchor. The typology suggests they are late Bronze Age. And that would be, yeah, wonderful, but it's sitting in amongst all of these whetstones, and the two have to be linked. It just speaks of this industry, this huge production site of Roman period whetstones. this perfect mix of everything coming together. There would have been ample manpower. We have Hadrian's Wall only 20 miles to the north with the Roman forts. There's sufficient whetstones made at this location to serve the entire Roman Empire. And that is no exaggeration.
Of course, the Romans had to have been here, but you can speculate all you like, but until you find the evidence for it, then it's just a speculation.
Absolutely. So it wasn't until we dug Trench 1. Our one aim was to find Roman material culture. And right at the very bottom, after we've gone through all of the layers of previous history, did we find our very first coin, our Roman period coin. Look what Charlie's just found.
Well pleased with that.
You will be, mate. That's brilliant. Guys, we've officially got our very first Roman coin. Look at that.
Oh.
And there it is there. It's an A3 coin, so a bronze coin, and it has Emperor Valens on, which probably dates about AD 340. That's, so 4th century coin.
See, that is definitive. You can't argue with that, can you? It's like the Romans were here.
Yes. It's a gorgeous little find.
So this was a very interesting site, and you got right stuck in.
This was brilliant.
How did that come to light? How did they know that there was archaeology
So
there?
this is a really interesting story. The local archaeology group were convinced that there was a Roman bridge in the area. Did not find the bridge, but they spotted these rather unusual rectangular stones.
And these weren't known of before?
No one had bothered looking. Very quickly became clear that what they had here was something that was completely out of the ordinary. And so, a whetstone is a really fundamental tool. If you are using iron knives, you have to sharpen them. And here they had not just one, but several, and not just finished whetstones in every single stage of the production.
But it's quite exciting, because it feels like the beginning of an investigation, a new discovery as it's emerging.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just it. This is a very, very new story.
There's definitely an interesting question to answer here, and I think it's exciting to tap into that at an early stage in the investigation, where it's been recognised that there is a focus of activity on the riverbank. There's something going on with the vessels in the river as well, with all these stone anchors there as well. There's definitely a bigger story here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also just like, the whetstones in general deserve more attention. People get fixated on the kind of fancy pots, but it's a whetstone that is the fundamental tool in your toolkit. You cannot run, an Iron Age industry. You cannot keep an Iron Age army, a Roman army, going without something that sharpens your blade. And I think that's it to me. Like, it's literally like, people go, oh, okay, we've
You're
got
convincing me.
It's all about the stone industries of the British Isles, as far as I'm concerned.
Next time on Digging for Britain, Tori visits a site with an opulent Roman bathhouse.
It does not look like it's 2,000 odd years old.
Archaeologists uncover a mysterious mass grave.
We're dealing with a very traumatic event.
And we journey back 300 million years
This stuff was already fossilised by the time dinosaurs were walking around.
to uncover a lost prehistoric world that helped forge Britain's industrial past.
Such exquisite detail.
Come and search for, we will search, and looking for us, scour the land.